You need to go into this thing by now. You need to know, like you know, that there's nothing that will stop you. From getting your 3rd-degree black belt, your 2nd-degree black belt, your 1st-degree black belt, your junior black belt. You have to know, I am prepared, so I'm no longer fearful. Focus, respect, discipline, confidence, gratitude, and vision. The 7th superpower is about what you do with all that. The 7th superpower is discovering the unique power that you have within you that you are meant to give to the world, and give those freely. Guys, I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna let you guys start doing your talking. I'm honored and grateful to be able to work with you. I'll give yourselves a big hand here.
My journey to becoming a black belt started 5 years ago. I was just the age 5 and I did not have any confidence. I was a shy and intimidated kid who was easily picked on. I struggled to make friends and would change my behavior as a means to fit in. Krav began to teach me about core values. Although I could repeat them, I did not fully understand them. But I can see they are the right thing to do. Some of the values I'm working on are integrity, self-discipline, self-control, and perseverance. Integrity is something I learned the hard way, as I used lies to try and selfishly get what I wanted. In the end, I would always end up working harder and asking for forgiveness and if I just did the right thing to begin with. Self-control is much like self-discipline. It is a fight within me for what is right and fruitful versus what is quick and easy. The leadership and life lessons taught at the dojo are more important to me as a person than a martial artist. My favorite saying from Grandmaster is, how you do anything is how you do everything. I use this saying to help me not to be lazy. If I had the chance to go back to my white belt self, I would tell myself, do not give up, and when you are discouraged, it's time to focus and push harder. Overall, I believe I am a better person for having persevered through the journey. To end, let me say, God be the glory. Amen. Yeah.
My KMMA journey started when I was 6 years old. I was at a different dojo learning a different martial arts, and I didn't learn much there. Then I decided to try out KMMA, and they taught me a lot more. They taught me all the qualities of a champion, but when I started, it felt too hard for me. But then the sensei came and high-fived me and told me that I was doing a good job and to never quit. If I were talking to the white belt version of myself, I would say to never give up, and even when it gets hard. And I'd like to thank Grandmaster Steve, because without him, this great school would not even exist.
I started my Krav journey in June 2017 after a friend's birthday party at the dojo. I was amazed at all the cool stuff they could do, especially the sword cake cutting. I was so excited I asked my parents if I could try it out. The more I tried this Krav thing, the more I liked it. Over the years, I have went through the ranks, and now here I am, a Red 3, and only moments away from becoming a junior black belt. I am inspired by Grandmaster Steven's knowledge and want to be just like Sensei Harley. I have gained a lot more ability to focus on my everyday life. Krav has led me to use common sense before self-defense at school during various activities, preventing me from getting into a lot of trouble. So what's next on my journey? Eventually master weapon defenses and become a Krav sensei myself in order to help others learn the benefits of Krav. I would like to thank those who have gotten me this far. Sensei Carolyn for her early guidance when I had a difficulty. Sensei Robert for keeping me excited about Krav. Lastly, my dad for making sure I was at classes each week.
My KMMA journey started when I was 4 years old. Today I am 8 years old. My dad and mom decided that KMMA was the place to provide me with the right tools that a young man would need. I recall how Shihan Harley, Sensei Diego, and Sensei Winston would take turns holding the pad for me and saying to one another, "Feel the power of this kid." With that, I also learned that KMMA is not just about punching and kicking. It is about learning the qualities of a champion and how to use them. If I was able to go back in time, the advice I would give myself is to make time to practice every day and always give it my best. As a junior black belt, I want to give a huge thank you to the whole KMMA team that has helped me with my improvements. To my mom and dad, thank you for giving me the opportunity to become my best. I love you. To my brother, Nathan, thank you for being my sidekick.
On my black belt journey, I've learned to be a better listener, I've focused better, I've learned to overcome challenges. Memorizing the student creed of KMMA has taught me the principles of black belt. These principles help me to be a better student of martial arts and a better person too. I've also learned what happens when it fails, just as important to learning. I've learned a lot about myself with this one. When we were breaking boards, I decided to use my fists. I hurt myself, but I refused to walk away. I did not quit. Instead, I found a way to break the board. Not only did I learn an important lesson about follow-through, I also learned what it means to have perseverance and indomitable spirit and a broken hand. I'd like to thank my parents for not letting me quit when there were times I just didn't want to go, wanted to give up. They encouraged me to keep going. I also thank my KMMA teachers for helping me become a better student. They always take their time to show me how to do things the right way. All the senseis are patient and helpful. If I were talking to the white belt version of myself, I would tell him, don't give up and strive to be the greatest. I'd also tell him, focus on fun, because if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. The journey from white belt to junior black belt candidate is long. I've learned a lot of self-defense, Krav Maga, and kickboxing. I've also made friends that will have for a lifetime. KMMA has been a good influence on me, not only in the dojo, but in real life.
Throughout my black belt journey, I've definitely seen major improvements in my personal development. I've noticed that I've become more attentive and more independent in my schoolwork. I've also become more helpful and diligent in my chores around the house. By practicing all the lessons I've learned from KMMA in all areas of my life, I've become a better person because of it. If I could talk to white belt version of myself, I would tell myself to never give up, no matter how hard something is. I would say that if you persevere through every different hardship, you end up becoming stronger in the end because of it. If you push through the pain, you end up becoming stronger for it. Next, treat every defense as if your life is really in danger, because if you practice that way, you'll be prepared for anything that happens. There are so many different aspects of KMMA that I enjoy. First, I love getting a great workout after every class and feeling myself get stronger. Next, I enjoy learning practical defenses that I can use in the real world if I have to protect myself or others. Finally, I think it is great how you feel like a part of a family at KMMA. Getting to the black belt level has been a long journey. Nevertheless, I've enjoyed almost every moment of it. Thanks to everyone who helped me get here. I will never forget my time at KMMA.
When I first started Krav Maga at KMMA, I knew it would be challenging. I was nervous about the journey ahead of me to become a black belt. When we started, we were in a class as white belts with a group of students, including Sensei Sarah, who were preparing for their black belt test. It was very overwhelming to see all that they seemed to know, and I couldn't imagine being in their shoes. But I've grown a lot since then, and now I'm almost there. 3 areas where I feel I've grown since starting Krav are my focus, stability, and strength. One lesson on leadership that I learned from KMMA is to have an attitude of gratitude. It's important to be grateful for everything I have and to the people around me. Also, to not take anything for granted. Another lesson I learned is that everything that seems impossible can be broken down into smaller steps. For example, kickboxing set 7 looked very intimidating first time I saw it. But as for everything in Krav, it can be broken down and explained. I learned if I focus on one step at a time, eventually I could put all the pieces together. It is so helpful here and in my other interests and hobbies. I realized I could achieve a lot more than I ever thought I could. If I could talk to the white belt version of myself, I'll say to pay attention to the lessons and don't give up, because it will help you later in life. Reflecting on my experience at KMMA, it has had its challenges, but I'm glad I stuck with it. Looking back, it's taught me so much and I'm grateful for that. I've grown a lot since I began my black belt journey, and now I'm ready for the next challenge.
I'm the least likely of black belt students. Through the years, I placed my boys in one dojo or another as we've moved across states. And I've always believed in the personal power that martial arts can offer a person. I wanted to instill in my boys the confidence, the humility that martial arts training can provide. I always took it for granted that it was just too late for me. No other dojo across 3 states ever once welcomed me or made me believe that I could be a part of such a journey. Honestly, I never even knew I personally had it in me to make it this far. To say I'm awkward and uncoordinated is to define my entire life prior to finding KMMA. I've gained confidence in myself by training here. I've gained personal respect from this black belt journey. One leadership lesson that has resonated with me is the law of the process. I understand that excellence doesn't happen overnight. Every day I can make things just a little bit better. And I'm forever grateful for this KMA family who will stand up by my side and see to it that I push through with an indomitable spirit.
I remember back in 2017, I had a conversation with my stepdad, Dan. He told me about Krav and how he wanted me to take classes in this martial arts. I was skeptical, and in my mind, I told myself I couldn't do it. 3 years later, here I am. Our dojo teaches life skills that can be used in and outside of the dojo. A few of those lessons stuck out more to me than some of the others. First off, the 10-90 rule. Life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% how you react to it. Going backwards, if I could tell my white belt self anything, I would tell myself quitting might seem like the easiest route, but quitting is the enemy of my goals. On my journey to this point, many people have helped me to become who I am today. I would like to thank my stepdad, Dan. My stepdad never let up on me, never let me stop or slow down. For everybody else who's on the journey becoming a black belt, don't give up, keep moving forward, and keep your eyes on the goal that you've set. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep on moving forward. Thank you and God bless.
Okay, I started my black belt journey when I was about 6 years old. I saw Karate Kid for the first time, and I thought punching and kicking people sounded like a lot of fun. So I asked my parents to find a place for me to learn how to punch and kick people. And I came in and I couldn't get enough of it. And then about 10 years old, I started getting really bored. And I was like, why am I doing KMMA Combo 1 over and over and over again? And I was sitting here and listening to Grandmaster talk, and I thought, he said this last week. Why is he saying it again? So I started coming to less and less classes, and I told my parents, not for me. I'm done with it. I'm bored. And my mom said, you'll go back, because I was 10 and clearly knew everything. I rolled my eyes. And then about a little over a year ago, I got really bored and decided to go into the garage and start doing my kickboxing sets on the heavyweight bag. And I was so angry that I had forgotten them. And my dad was like, why don't you just go back? So I tasked my parents to bring me back, and they told me the one rule: I can't quit. I'm not allowed to. I'll get my black belt, I'll get my first degree black belt, and it took me about half a second to agree to that. I was gonna come back, and I was gonna get my black belt. The hours and hours that I spent thinking that I knew better than everybody else were the lessons that were being taught to me that I realize today are just the most important things that I could have learned. Though I don't know what I would tell my white belt self, I wish someone told me that it was that very environment that I was so bored of, that was setting me up for success. That those minor lessons that would go in one ear and out the other were the foundation of everything that I needed. So I would like to thank you guys and my parents for not allowing me to quit. That's it.
My name is Anna, and many of you don't know me or even my past. I lived in Italy after I left Poland. One night I was sleeping and somebody broke into my apartment while I was sleeping. They broke in through the bedroom I was in. That was a terrifying experience. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to protect myself, how to defend myself. Nothing was the same anymore. Not too much longer I came to the United States. I knew I had to do something about it. That horrible experience took something from me, but it didn't take the most important thing, my life. Going through the learning process of self-defense, I gained lots of confidence, self-awareness, and no longer feel nor look like a victim. Grandmaster always believed in me. He was always repeating, "You will be a great black belt." The longer you are here, the more you believe in yourself. And thanks to Shihan, I really started believing in myself. I am forever grateful that I passed through this door. And now I just want to continue the journey and be example and inspiration to others, because there are people who need our help. Thank you.
I love Krav Maga martial arts. I'm Ruth Flores, candidate for my first black belt, retired Chief Master Sergeant, United States Air Force, wife and mom. Like a few other moms, I initially came in here to give my son somewhere productive to exert all of his energy. I remember his first day, Gino was starry-eyed. He loved it from the very first minute, and last September he earned his first black belt. So I'm a super proud mom. Thank you, yes. I was a different kind of starry-eyed. In my mind's eye, I would imagine training, but I was like, nah, leave that to the young people, all right? But then one day I just decided to go for it. The road to this moment hasn't been without its trials, but eventually the trials became opportunities for improvements. When unwelcome voices tell me, no, you can't, I can now tell them to shut it and say, yes, I can. When my body is sore in places I didn't even know I had, and says it's too much, time to quit, I can now say pain is just weakness leaving the body. Now at times, my biggest obstacle was the girl looking at me in the mirror. But because of my extraordinary family and then the remarkable instructors who give of their time and talent, I stand here today ready for tomorrow. Thank you again for sharing your passion for preparing us to live and empowering us to lead, and thank you very much.
Now, as a Bible student and a born-again Christian, as well as a dedicated student of the martial arts, it all requires continual learning and persistence with desire to grow and increase in knowledge. The scripture, like the arts, teach the I can principle. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, right? The principle in Krav is I can. The remarkable thing about the arts is you learn that you don't have to fight, right? You become so well developed as a person that you find no need to prove yourself as a person through violence. Your value of self and your value of others will lead you to want to help rather than hurt. I want to thank Grandmaster Steve for making this school and this style available. Thanks to all the training partners along the way. And most of all, I want to thank God for life and life more abundantly. Cheers to the next evolution.
My daughter had asked me to join her. She was in the police academy. She's a little like me. They said, hey, you need some KMMA, go take some classes. I came with her and was hooked right away. And I've learned to go from a lamb to a lion and back to a lamb. Most of the time, except for maybe driving out on the streets these days. But I try to pull it in quickly. The biggest thing I've enjoyed besides myself learning is the empowerment that I've seen people through the dojo, from the younger kids, from my peers. It's just been very encouraging to watch them. I've been proud. As a mom, I'm proud to see other kids doing well and how they've become young men and productive. I've raised two exceptional kids in my mind. They're productive in life. They've taken the right roads. So now it's my time. So I have some goals, and you have been very instrumental in me setting those goals. So thank you.
Krav has been an incredible experience for me. When I first showed up, I was 66. I was 40 pounds overweight when I walked through the front door. Push-ups? No way, I couldn't do them. I need to be able to get off the floor in a fluid motion while protecting myself. It's just not gonna happen. But yet I kept coming back. I really believe my turning point came when I enrolled in the first intensive training class. I went to the first 3-hour session and felt maybe I was reaching too far until the end of the class. That's when someone about half my age and way more athletic than me walked up and told me he was impressed, and then went on to tell me that when he first saw me there, he was pretty sure I was not going to be able to finish the first 3 hours, but that I had. That's when I began to believe. And there have been so many others along the way. And with that said, I wish to say to every person in this program, you have the ability to make a difference in your life and in the lives of others simply by coming to class and doing your best every day. Thank you to all who have been a part of my journey.
So many of the teachings and philosophies that I've learned here in KMMA have helped me shape the path that I've discovered, what I would like to share with you tonight. We are here to make this world a better place than it was when we got here. This is the core of my own personal mission statement. When you sit back and think about the scope of such goals, it can be paralyzing. Many of us want to make a difference in the world. We all want to have a positive impact. However, we can get caught up in the limitations of thinking, I'm just one person. How much can I really do? With intimidation comes the fear of failure. The fear of failure becomes paralyzing and leads us to give up on the visions to change altogether. You will drive yourself crazy if you choose to focus on this. The power of one, however, very easily turns into the power of many. I am only one, but I am still one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I can do. Helen Keller. Empowering lives through martial arts. Preparing to live, empowering to lead. Making a difference is not something that happens in one day. It's a constant and never yielding undertaking. And when you find your path, whatever it may be, follow it with heart and conviction and trust that you can do more than you ever thought possible. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sensei Winston. I've trained at KMMA for 12 years, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey to becoming a black belt. The biggest thing I've taken from training over the years is my confidence, because there were times that I truly thought I couldn't do this, and I'd shut down and let my negative thoughts control me. But from all the sensei and instructors taking their time to help encourage me, I've developed a level of confidence to where I'm able to help others become their best. I am very grateful to my father for never letting me have quitting as an option. I've gained strength, confidence, and discipline. I've developed into a better person because of all of the lessons I've taken and applied to my life, being positive, believing in myself, and helping others to be their best. One of my favorite leadership lessons is to never give up, because I've had times where I felt like quitting because I thought I wasn't good enough or couldn't do something. If I was talking to myself as a white belt, I would say stay focused, determined, and never give up. My advice for all the junior students is to train hard, stay committed, and picture yourself as a black belt, and never think you're not good enough.